Dear online viewers, good morning. Welcome to today's live stream. We are from CGTN. I'm from the Birds Lovers Association International. This morning, we're going to visit Rongcheng of Shandong province and get close to the whooper swans and the black-headed gulls, and to have an interaction between human and nature. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and the temperature is 6 degrees below 0 Celsius. And in front of the camera, you can see a lot of whooper swans teasing themselves in the lake. Now let's join the cameraman to have a tour with the swans. You have seen such a beautiful landscape here. Now let's welcome the Deputy Director of the Local Tourism and Cultural Bureau. Hello everyone. I'm from the Local Cultural and Tourism Bureau. Now, please allow me to say something about Rongcheng. Every winter, the whooper swans came to Rongcheng for spending the winter season.
你是移动机位对不对？
我就拍花絮的。
你拍花絮应该站在这儿。
行。老师，你别讲话。你的麦克风是开着的，然后它里面也能收到声音。到时候采访的时候你就讲话，现在不要讲。
让我们相约北纬37度的天之尽头天鹅海岸。相约37度的天之尽头天鹅海岸，漫步在千里海疆。
So next time, if you have chance, welcome to Rongcheng to visit this place of snow and the whooper swans. Thank you.
是不是效果？我一下有点特别紧张。
刚刚啊，通过夏女士的介绍，我们也是发现了很多蓉城非常好玩的。也再次的感谢夏丽英女士给我们带来的。
See, Rongcheng is really a nice place for the snow and sightseeing and the whooper swans. As you see, I dress white, all white today, just to echo the snow ground. And what a beautiful place of ice and snow in Rongcheng. And this place also attracted a number of photographers to picture the whooper swans, which traveled all the way from Siberia. So that promises to be a wonderful landscape. And next to me is a professional photographer, Mr. Yuan. So let's hear from him how his stories about picturing the birds. Hello. Would you like to say hi to our viewers? Hi, everyone.
大家好。
So, are you picturing the whooper swans? Yes. You have been doing this for many years. So, what about this time? Anything special about this trip?
我此行蓉城呢，是从
I started my trip to Rongcheng from 1996. I almost traveled here every year, so it has been 27 years. Each time I came, there is a big snow. And you can see the whooper swans dancing in the snow ground. What a nice picture. I can see it's really attractive and interactive place. And you have got such a huge lens. Is it so special for making pictures? Because I picture the swans from a long distance, so I bought a long lens. It is 1,200 millimeters, so it is less prone to the human interventions. And because it is a long lens, the picture will create a special atmosphere. I can also see other photographers making pictures from a distance. So how did you find the camera positions? Now we are facing the sunlight. So we are against the light. So it's easy to make a silhouette for the birds and for the people. So it's easy to make a beautiful silhouette picture. And now we are facing the 12 o'clock direction of the sun, so it's like a side against the light. So there is some light and there is not full light. So it gives you a better feeling in the picture. Now, if you check this picture, you can see on the left there is a big whooper swan. On the right side, there are many whooper swans also sitting on the lake surface. That means they are well fed, they have ate full. Only when they are full, they can sit idle on the lake. So I have chosen this position because on the right hand there is pine trees. So this gave me some shelter and also gave me some view. So if you follow my hand on the right, and the 3 o'clock direction, you will follow an axis, and you can see the whooper swan flying along with the wind. And later you will see how the view changes. So we change the picture also according to the wind, where the wind blows. So I want to have a picture when the wind moves from the left to the right. So the camera position is very important for making a good picture. And the height of the camera is also important. And the background is also crucial. And the lake, the bush, that gives you a wider choice to control the front page. And you can see there is another animal, wild animal flying above me. Also, the camera and the footage gives some diversity of the colors. So that depends on the position of the camera. We also have red-mouthed gulls and hornbills. Well, these animals belong to Yunnan province because they prefer hot temperature. There are some other varieties like ducks, wild ducks, and other birds traveling from Siberia, from the winter's place to here. Most of the whooper swans travel from the Siberia. So they choose the lakes, the wetlands for spending the winter. So that means Rongcheng has a favorable geographical location because Rongcheng has both sea and lakes. So they've got both salty water and fresh water. The whooper swans are easy to survive. And now as they come here, they are no longer afraid of humanity. I came here for the first time in 1996. I kept 200 meters away from the swans. But now I dare to get close to them only 10 meters. And you can see the whooper swans just easily flying above your head. They are not afraid of you at all.
所以它就肯定的，看这种节奏非常非常漂亮，啊，哎，所以说我们在没有拍好，再等。
If you do not succeed in the first time, you can try second time for the picture.
所以说呢，你在这个选。
So the camera position is very important. Well, I listened to some of your lectures, online lectures. So how did you prepare these lectures?
我们拍摄就是很多的摄影
Well, many
爱好者
photographers
从事这些工作
or lovers like me,
我今天有时间了，或者是这个
they
季
just
节
decide
我需
for
要去拍什么
themselves what to
就
shoot
到了现场去表现。
and where to
那
shoot.
实际上我在拍摄的时候，先做年度计
Like
划
for me,
做
for
几年的计
myself,
划
I make
啊
an
用这一
annual
段时
plan
期，根据鸟类的
and
繁殖
depending
期
on
然后呢
the
迁徙的
timing
通道
of the wild
然后来设
animals.
定拍摄的点位，每一个地域每一个点位来去选择拍摄也不一样。
For
你像
example,
山东这个地
each
方
place
以
has
这
its
个
own
荣城为
peculiar
例
time.
荣城呢，我把天鹅湖作为一
Taking
个
Shandong
表
Rongcheng,
现
for
自然和
example,
鸟类之间的
it's a
关系。
place for
那
human
还有它
and
有边
nature.
角，表现人
There are
文
other places
和
for
天鹅的关系。
showing
它
the
是不同
relationship
的虽然
of
在一个大的
cultural
范围内
connotations.
那它的
So
主
you
题
have
表现是
different
不一样的。
themes.
那我们要如果是再往
If
这
you
个南
walk
向再走，
further
就
south
可以表现
to the
海和
southern
天鹅
part
的
of China, you can make pictures
主题
that reflect the
主题
relationship of
那这样
sea
的话
and
呢，它
wild
就
animals.
表现出来的画面，每一
So
次
each
的
time you
主
have
题
a
不一样，
different
那
topic,
你拍摄的手法
and
也
that
不一样，
involves different
那就这
techniques,
样的传播的角度和
and
信息
it
量也就
presents
很有
different
丰富
kind of information to the public.
你看看现在现在这些都是吃饱的，
For example,
哎
these
都
Hooper
在这儿，
swans
你看
are
都
well
在这儿，你看
fed.
到没有？是吧？
I think they have
都是
enough
吃饱的
food.
这些吃饱了喝足的，在这里，看到没有？那我们现在来看这个
If
拍
we
摄天鹅的，我们在
when we
使用
choose
相机也
the
好
cameras, the
选择地域也
locations
好，还是要做功
for
课。
making the pictures of
做
the
一些功课
swans, we need to do
你
some
像
homework.
这个天鹅，我们一看，它就是有2个种
If
群。
you check this
那
kind
左
of
边的是一家
swans, they fall into 2 family
这些
groups.
是这6只，那右边一片又是一个小家族。哎，
You
对对
can
对。
see
然后
how different they are
这一些
depending
那
on
它
how
是一
they
个大
stay
族群
together.
它都有关系，什么爷爷
There
辈
are
儿、奶奶辈儿的，还有什么
swan
这个
grandfathers,
亲一样
grandmothers,
一样
and
的，它这个
mothers
是
and fathers.
他
So
们
it's
在
a
一
big
起。
family.
所以说呢，是一对天鹅在那里它是这样的，所以你在拍摄的时候也要熟悉生
So
物的
when making a picture of the swans, you need to know the
我们也可以看
characteristics
到很远
of
很
the
远的在山脉
Hooper swans.
下边那个地
If
方
you
的
go
海
to
水
the
海湾呢
seaside,
它就很多的这个鸟类就在
many
这个海岸线上
wild
进行
birds
来回
fly
穿梭飞翔
through the
目的是什么呢
coastlines
因为它向西边去的时候就有很多的
because
淡
the
水
birds know
哎，对对
when
对
if they
它是这样
fly to the
我们可以
east, to the west,
好吧
it's easier to get some fresh water.
所以说呢，我们在拍摄当中呢，这个画面呢，每
So
一
each
次
time
的
when
你
you
使
make a
用的
picture,
器
you use a
不一样
different
是吧？
camera
哎
position
哎
and you
这个
get a
结果
different
是不一样
picture.
哎
而且我有看到，就是大家很多都是带了一个镜头就在那儿拍，然后他有看到
I see many cameramen has only one lens,
对
but you have more than one.
镜头，这个肯定就是也是有不同的这个拍摄的这个方式啊。
I can see you do
它
it
实
in a
际上
different
我们在
way.
拍摄当中这一点是很重要的，就是在
Well, the
表
lens can play
现
different roles.
鸟类和抓
Sometimes
抓拍
you
鸟
make
类
a
的时候呢因为
snapshot
有的时候从远
from
至近
a
你要拍
far
特写
distance.
也要拍场面，这样的话你有这
So
个变焦
you
镜
need a
头
lens that can
或者
zoom
是
in and
有
zoom out.
广一点的镜头、短一点的来去拍摄近距
But
离
you
场面。
sometimes need
那
a
你
wider
这
lens.
个我这个卡已经满了我再给它接上去换一个卡
My memory stick has been full.
多少张？三 3000万张照片。
没有，是应该是说准确讲我的。
My gallery has over 1.3 million pictures over these years. It's all about the wild animals.
拍摄这个鸟类还是需要一个大型的主题。
You
而不要单
need
一
to
的
get
去
a
就是
theme.
拍这个鸟类就一个飞行姿态
It's
啊。
not
一个
only
形状
about
看看
how the birds
很漂亮，看到
flying.
没有？哎，就是我们投影过。哎，对。所以
Check
说你
how
看
beautiful
你
they
看
are.
前景这松树是吧？你看又来一对，你看到没有？
There is another one coming.
哎，都是在我的这个动线里，你看到没有？
So you can see the whooper swans just
这个
walked
赛是很重要的。
across me.
那我们在拍摄当中呢，那既然你要考虑好，你就从这个，你在这个地方拍了松树，在那边
This
拍了
time
是
you
其
make a
他的树
picture
木
about the
都是
pine
反映
trees,
不同的位置，
and
让人
next
看
time you
看
make a different angle.
你像我们
It's
很
all
多
about
人
the
在拍
swans,
日
but the
出
theme is different.
日落，
And
是
you
不是
make a
喜欢
swan
太阳
in the
这个时候我
sunrise,
们也可以在
sunrise,
抑制
and next
这
you
个
have a
前面的景色
swan in the
啊，
picture
因为我们
with
要
the
看这个太阳行走的
sunset.
流线和日出的这个方向，来判断呢鸟类飞行的
And
轨迹
judging
地方
by
它是需要
the
参考
direction of the
哎，
sunrise,
对
you
对对
can
对对，对，
tell how the swans fly.
你看，这个，因为我在这儿等待，哎，并哎，对，
So I wait. I always
是
wait
是，
for a good
哎。
picture.
那我们呢，实际上在拍摄
When we
鸟
make
类的时
pictures
候
of the
呢，
hooper swans
我们
and
可
the
以
wild
在
animals,
天鹅周边的其他的鸟类也可以
we
去
can
拍摄。
shoot.
它
We
就
can
表现
picture
一个
not
生物多
only
样
the
性，
hooper
哎，这个
swans
也
but
也
also
是
other
一
wild
个大型
animals.
的一个主
They
题。
can also be a good
你看
theme.
我跟你讲，我
for
拍的
my
主题，第一
pictures.
个主题呢，我原来是拍的是大型主题，就是世界上的鸟类8大通道，按照鸟类的迁徙
Well,
通
when I
道，
first make
哎，
pictures,
就是它
I
越冬地呀，还有繁殖
and
地呀，
shoot
从这个
through
这个
with the
这
theme
个
of
迁徙通
8
道来去跟
traveling
鸟类拍摄，
routes
还有
of
一个沿
the
着赤道行的拍摄
wild
啊。
animals.
再一个从南极
For
啊
example,
到
from the
北极点
Antarctica to
啊，
the
这个跨
Atlantic
过去拍
to
摄，
the
这
Arctic.
就按照这个我们说时间跟
So
纬度的
it's a
关系
theme
去表
about
现。
timing,
还有一个
about
呢，就
time
是
and latitude.
主题性的拍摄，大型的。你像我2000年拍的
And
是
in
极地
2000s,
中滚长江，
I
啊，
changed
主要
my
拍摄
topic
鸟
to
和人
human and
的
nature.
关系，在这个基础上拍退田
It's
黄
about to
土，最终还
return
是
the
在
land
2000年
to
在长
forest.
江项目。哎，2016年呢就拍的是
In
奇异九曲
2016,
黄河，
the
是
theme
以
is about
鸟
the
类
Yellow
文化
River
为
and
主
the
题。
birds.
啊，沿途我去
It's
走
about
了
the
33
culture
个
along the
在
river.
博物馆，挖掘鸟类的文化，它是这样的。
In
21年再走万里海
2021,
江的时候呢，寻忆万里海江呢
I
是我
made
拍摄
another
中国
kind
的
of
30年的
pictures
最
to
自然环
reflect
境
the
的变化
change
和
of
保
the
护区
natural
的变化
habitat
来去拍
of
摄，所以
the
你要有
wild
主题
animals and
是
how the
这样
protection measures have been developed in China.
啊。
So what about your future plan after so many years of making pictures of the wild animals?
它这个主题拍摄肯定是
Well, I think the
一直在拍。
themes
那
can
影像的
go
表
on
现
and
呢，
on,
也是根据每一个时期确定的主题
and
也
the
不一样。
theme can change
你
in
像我
different
初期拍摄
stages.
就是一个写实表现，哎，然后呢对光影的
And
要求
the
很高。
pictures are
那
highly
逐渐
demanding
拍
on
摄
the
就要考虑
lights
到你是不是要
and
增加一些
the
鸟
shadows,
和人类的关系，
but
鸟
you
和自然的关
now
系。
put
那这个时
more
候你也要去拍。
attention to
要
the
设计一
relationship
些
between human and
那在这个
nature,
里边呢，影像里边还有一部
between
分
the
是
wild
主要的艺
animals
术。
and the
影像
humanity.
艺术主要是表现是自我。
And sometimes the
哎，这个
themes
里边
can
是
be
我拍的，你看，哎，这
self-reflection,
种风格，是边缘拍的，这个风格是某
and
某
you
拍的，
gradually
啊，
develop
它
your
有一
own
个
styles,
影像
and
的
it's
风格
easy
在
to
里边。那追
tell
求这个
whose
风格
style.
需要很多的时间探索，因为这个摄影的发明以来的时间也不是很长。
And because
大家使用的技
photography
法比较
has
相近，
not a
拍
long
摄的主
history,
题基
so
本上有很
people's
多地方比较
techniques
接近。那
resemble
你要
each
确定
other.
一个这个风格属
So how
于
to
你自
develop
己
your own
所谓的
style,
创
how
新
to
也
make
好，还
new
是坚
ways
持也罢，
of
那这种
pictures.
风格，那你要去研究，从这个色温呐，
So you develop new techniques of the color temperatures and the expression techniques. They should be different. So I invented a new theme. It's about the Hooper swans in the dream. It's a new theme about the pictures of the Hooper swans. It's not easy to capture. But if I want to make a picture, I want to select one out of 90,000 pictures. I mean, if I make 90,000 pictures, then there will be one, the most outstanding from all of them. So this is a super long thing, a lens, for you to zoom in. Now you make a group of pictures about the Hooper swans with this lens. So we combine a set of techniques for picturing the Hooper swans. You can see the Hooper swans have flown back, sitting on the lake and standing up. So when do they return to Siberia? They go back to Siberia every March. And you can see they are about to fly back. They're about to fly. I can see you have a rich knowledge of the Hooper swans. See, it's flying. As long as it follows the direction of the wind, it can fly. So the Hooper swans are waiting for the wind in order to fly. Because this lens is really long, 1,200 millimeters. It's good to make a picture. So while in the process of waiting, it can be interesting. Let's give the camera footage to this Hooper swans. You can see it's flying back. Wow, how interesting it is. So before making a picture of the Hooper swans, you develop knowledge of them. You also take into considerations the weathers in the outdoor place. Sometimes you need a package to wrap up the camera. So when you and a plastic bag to keep the water from the camera, from the lens. If you get into a room which is very warm, you also need a protection of the lens. That's our normal practice of protecting the lens from getting cold, getting wet. And this stabilizer is also very important. However, not all the people see the importance of this stabilizer. So the tripod is very important. in stabilizing the
很美，是吧？
camera.
你看，一眼到这个松树这儿过来，是吧？这个就是它的航线。
So that is the flying
就是
route
它的航线。
of the
我们
Hooper
可以看
swans.
来了，应该是9只天鹅。
Now in front of us, we have
在
seen
那边
9 Hooper swans flying
所以说你选
into
择
the
一个位
sky.
置上，能够看到左右，能兼顾，而且能够表现你所要的这个画面。
So it's important to get the picture you want.
对，你看这边，你看到顺光的时候呢，这个天鹅这个羽毛就特别。
Now it's we have more light, so we can see how white
受雪的反光。
the Hooper swan is
天空的太阳光和水
with the
地里的反光
reflection of the snow, with the light.
3对1，这是
The Hooper swan
看着
appear
吧
even
漂亮吧？所以
more white.
对，所以说呢，你要如果是我们把这个。
They do fly in the direction of the wind.
对，它非常典型。
Yes, that's typical of the habit of the swans.
对，那个不是，那个灰黑色的是亚成体的天鹅。
Well, the swans in the
去
gray
年孵化出来的，然后现在能飞
is
了。
a subtype
过来了
of
有的是今
the
年
swans
孵化
born last year.
就是能飞了。新孵化的，我们叫亚成体。
The newly born swans are called the
它是这
subtype.
样。所以说看起来要丑小鸭，它实际上现在是还是
It's still in their infant stage.
是这么一个。我把这个给切换一下啊，切换到。
Now let me change the light, change the camera position.
对。对。
It seems they have got a good rest. So, Mr. Yuan, you came here 20 plus years ago. So, any change throughout the years?
它这个它第一个是什么呢？就过去的时候就是没有人。
Well, in the past, a few people fed the Hooper swans.
还有一个是什么呢？这个没有这么多房子。
And not so many houses being built
没有房，这个边缘处，
along the lake.
整个的湖区呢，在远方的那个地方，这个水塘里。
So in the past, the Hooper swans felt free to fly around because there was not many houses, not many people feeding them, not many roads being built.
就是非常明确的，为了不让人类干扰这个。
But now it has been newly planned. There has been some special routes for the protection of the Hooper swans.
保护区。
And a core area has been developed to protect the swans, to protect them from human intervention. And good protection measures have been put in place in all kinds of protection areas to avoid killing of the animals.
现在看看边老师又在创作了。 现在可以它可以拍得这么的近啊，这个镜头。
对，它长镜头就有这点好处，
With this lens, you can see very clearly the Hooper swans.
是这样。
现在看到这个太阳，它也是这样的一个位置的一个变化。
And we can see the change of the sunlight.
我一般情况下，这是给大家看一下。我一般情况下是，
I seldom make such pictures of these game footages because in my eyes they are not so beautiful. But it's only for the purpose of making records.
单独的一只。
我们就是选择还是选择在通道上来去表现这样我们转过来。
For the natural expressions, I choose to picture them in their traveling routes.
现在那边那一群也是，那个他们休息好了起。
飞过来了。另外呢，就是我们在拍摄天鹅当中啊。
While making pictures of the Cooper swans, you need to give yourself some space for the expressions and develop your own styles.
找到自己的这个风格很重要。是。好，那边老师，那您就先
So thank you so much for spending time with us.
现在把镜头再转回给我们蓉城天鹅湖的一个现场啊。那也刚刚边老师给我们分享了非常多关于拍摄。
Just now we learned a lot about the stories of making pictures of the swans and enjoyed many nice pictures of the swans.
那说起生态
And talking about the ecological perseverance, we cannot go without the Yunnan province. And recently, Yunnan province has done a lot to protect the natural environment. Now let's turn the camera to Yunnan province and learn about their stories.
Hey guys, very nice to see you again. My name is Jerry and I'm a journalist from the Yunnan International Communication Center for South and Southeast Asia. It's really glad to see you today. And look where I'm standing right now. I'm now inside the Kunming Institute of Zoology, Chinese Academy of Sciences. And next to me is Dr. Wu Fei. He's actually an expert of ornithology, which is the study of bird species. Yeah, and how are you?
I'm fine. Thank
yeah,
you.
非常高兴认识您. And so today we'll be talking about some topics in terms of how to better protect bird species and how climate change might affect the inhabitants of birds. So, but next I'm going to talk to Dr. Wu in Chinese. Yeah.
It's my great pleasure to have you with us today. I'm also happy to take this interview. Well, biodiversity is a hot topic around the world. Especially Yunnan has a rich biodiversity. According to our latest statistics, Yunnan has over 1,000 species. It has so many species of interesting birds. For example, the black-headed gulls, the peacocks, the hornbills.
So it's like when we talk about the bird species in Yunnan, we're not just talking about the black-headed gulls in Kunming. We're also talking about peacocks. We're also talking about hornbills in Dehong. So there are a lot more to explore. Yunnan
has a favorable geography. So how special is it? Well, the natural climate is peculiar, the natural habitat, the plants are all favorable to the biodiversity. That contributes to the biodiversity of the birds. On the east side of Yunnan province, the geography, the land is very flat.
这边更西的话就是印度平原这边。
On the west
我
is
们
the
这一块恰好
Indian
属于两边的一个
land.
交界，甚至是一个动物地理的一个交界区，就是
So this
这种交界
connecting
区就是很多鸟
area
能到我们的
creates
这
a
个很
favorable
南
natural
这个区域，
environment
但
for
是
Yunnan
可能
province
从东过来的，
for the birds
可能到这里
to come
可以到
here
就
to
到不了西
spend the
边，然后
winter.
西边过来到这边又到不了东边，哎，就造就了云南
So
的
that
一个鸟类
contributes
多样性
to a
特别
rich
高。
variety of the bird species.
对。
Just Yunnan is just a unique place for biodiversity. You know, if you have a chance to observe the biodiversity, look at the biodiversity here, you would find it so very interesting, and that's why the COP15 was held here, and all the focuses from the globe were put on in Yunnan to really look at its environment, also its practices on global biodiversity conservation. 那因为时间关系哈，
Well,
吴
I
老
have
师这
one
边我还有
last
一个最后
question.
的一个问题想请教您，就是关于这个
How
怎
do
么
can we
提高
improve the
大
awareness
众
of the
对于这个
public
保护鸟
on
类
the
的认识
protection
大家
of the wild
因
animals?
为我觉得最近这
Over the
10
past 10
年大家
years,
对于这个
people
生
have
物多样性
grown
保护
more
有这个
aware
了解啊
about
对
然后也
the
喜欢自
birds
然的人，
and
愿意
getting
亲近
close
自
to
然的人越来越
nature.
多。包括鸟类方面，我们看见有一些，包括有
And
些
we have
观鸟协
established
会，现在
the
国内做的也不错。
bird
就您
view
认为就是说
association, which also help protect
作
the
为科学
birds.
家，我们怎么能够更好的
So
来
from the
给大
perspective
家
from
普
the
及鸟类方面
scientist
知识
and the
包括大家
individual,
如果在
how
观
can
鸟
we
的过程
protect
里
the
面
animals?
有哪些东西是需要注意的？
就是其实我们不用太担心，因为这个我们整个中国的
Well, in
战略
China,
就是我们
we have done a lot.
提到
As
自然
President
环
Xi
境建设
Jinping
这
said,
是一个
we should
很了不
put
起的
great emphasis
一个
on the protection
一
of
个
the
思
natural
想，就是
environment
说，哎，慢慢
and
我
of
们
the
的物质文化
ecology.
变好以后，我们就去关心我们的
So,
自然，我们
as
有
we
更高的追求。
Getting close to
更
nature,
好的环境
we are more
包括
aware
我
of
们现在
protecting the
这
environment.
个社会的氛围都有利于这
So
个
we need to build
我们的下一代
disagreement
就是说去
among
关
the
心这些
public
自然
to
然后
protect
去
the
保护
nature.
自然这个倒不是
This
问
is
题，
not
但
a
是问题
problem,
是在哪
but
里
where
呢？
is
就
the
是
real
说
problem?
的确，我们有时候我们有一个
There is a
沟
gap
在哪里呢？
in the
就是说
knowledge
不足之处，就是说我们的科学研究的
in our science education
工作还需要
that needs
加
to
强
be further
因为现在
strengthened.
尽管很多人都是很喜欢去
People love
热爱自然
nature,
也愿意
people
去
get close to
接触自
nature.
然，但有时候由于这个科
but
学知识的这
we need
个
more science
够
knowledge
就有
about
时候
the
这种热爱
preservation of
反
nature.
反而变成了一种伤害
Without the
就是比
deep
如说
knowledge,
观鸟
sometimes we may
观
harm
鸟
the
呢，大部
nature.
分是好的，那个
For
别人
example,
比
when
如说
may
拍鸟
people
这个
picture
事
the
情就是大家都
birds,
很喜欢那个
when
鸟的那个
birds
动野鸟的那
move,
个美丽，
they
哎，他
make
用
pictures,
那种很不
but
好
in a
的一
bad
些方式，
way.
比如说去拍那个小鸟、
They
幼鸟啊，还没有
picture
育巢的
the
鸟，
infant
甚至把
birds
树砍了，就是
and
留一个
even
光
cut
秃的鸟窝。
the
哎，他们这么一
trees
做的话，
and
他
the
尽管他拍到了一
homes
些
of the
很漂
birds,
亮的去喂小
which
鸟的
harm
那
the
个
habitat
母鸟
of the
喂小鸟
birds.
的那个照片呐什么的，但实际上基本上这窝小鸟可能
So
就完蛋
this
了，
may
就会被天敌捕食啊，
lead
或
to
者
the
是其他
death
原
of the
因就
birds
死掉了。
or
所
the
以
birds
哎
be
这个就需
eaten
要
by their
科
natural
学
enemy.
但这个科普呢，
So we need
工
to
作可以说有
step
点
up the
任重而道
science
远。它
education
现在是大家都很喜
to
爱，但
teach
是怎
people
么
how to
爱
love
这个
birds,
需要
how to love
科学知识
nature.
Wow, it's very inspiring. It's very inspiring. Because I'm also very interested in nature. I'm also very interested in animals. But like Dr. Wu said, when we are doing like bird watching, we really have to be really careful. Do not harm these birds when we enjoy now bird watching. This is very important. So I think it's very inspiring. I've learned a lot. Hope you've also learned some from today's live streaming. Thank you for watching. Thank you.
Just now we have saw seen the Hooper swans in Rongcheng and also in Yunnan province. Now let's see the hornbills.
Dear online viewers, good morning.
I'm Mo Junwen from CGTN. Just now, my colleagues tell you stories about the Hooper swans in Rongcheng, and now I am in a warm place. I mean, in the Dai nationality, in Shiti village of Yunnan province, located in the very southwest tip of China. Here, it is home to over 1,000 natural species, and the home state of this locality, it is home to over half of China's bird species and also wild animals. And we have 39 peculiar species only found here, not else in China. Check, there is a big bird over there combing its hair. Dehong is such a beautiful place. Just now we have seen some rare and beautiful scenes. This is the success of the photographers. So let's talk to the photographers. How do they feel about their stories? Now I'm glad to be joined by Mr. Sun Xiaohong, one of the photographers. Hi, nice to meet you and see you in Rongcheng. Dear online viewers, good morning. I am a Beijing photographer, Sun Xiaohong. So, Mr. Sun, you have made so many nice pictures of the Hooper swans in Rongcheng and the hornbills in Dehong. So how do you feel about these two cities? Well, I have traveled 1,000 miles. I think the most beautiful place is in China. I have traveled almost all across China. From the perspective of ecology, these two cities have many things in common. First is people are highly involved in the preservation of the nature, and they have created a beautiful and better environment for loving people, for loving nature, loving birds, loving animals, and people have been more aware of protection of the nature. And that really gratifies me to view the ecology of Dehong, because Dehong enjoys a warm climate. But here in Rongcheng City, with the snow, with the lake, with the Hooper swans, it is fair to say it's so beautiful. It's fairyland. But Dehong is home to the largest amount of biodiversity bird species in China. They have a very strong protection committee of the bird species, so they have done a great job. So, Mr. Sun, how can we better protect these bird species? Well, China has done a lot to protect the bird species in the past decade, especially that people have greatly improved their awareness of the protection of the animals. You know, in Shiti, a region for preserving the bird species in Yunnan province, in the past, it used to be a hunting area. But now, hunting is prohibited in order to protect the wild animals. That's because people have benefited from protecting the wild animals. And here in Rongcheng, we have put in place a good luck and protection area. These protection zones have played a big role in the sound protection. So the people have done a good job under the guidance of the local government. So with the leadership of the government, the local people have been doing more to protect the wild animals. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Sun for giving us knowledge about the protection measures taken by the people and the region in the two cities. I can see a lot of tourists are joining us today for sightseeing of the Hooper swans. Next to me is a very famous photographer in China. Good morning, everyone. My name is Qi, and I am from Weihai of Shandong province. So it's not easy to travel afar to this place against the snow. So what motivates you to come here? The Hooper swans are sacred to the photographers for them to make good pictures. So I came here every year. I have been traveling here for over 30 times. I heard from other guests that the swans travel from Siberia every October and come back every March. Every year we held photography competitions and activities on the theme of Hooper swans. So can you share with us some of your techniques of picturing the Hooper swans? Well, I have been making pictures of the Hooper swans for over 20 years. So just to present how they look, how beautiful they are, you apply a lot of techniques to reflect the relationship of human and nature. There are a lot of techniques. And the Hooper swans are a good topic for the photographers. Every year you came here to the same place, you get something new. Every time you have a different feeling and different pictures. And that is the glamour of photography. So what about your future plan? Well, I am part of the local government's photography association. So I make pictures of the Hooper swans to step up the publicity of the Hooper swans, to promote the cultural and the tourism sector. So the government encouraged us to make more pictures, to hold exhibitions, to tour China. And this year we held 2 exhibitions in Yunnan. Next stop we'll go to Anhui province for the Chinese people to know more about the Hooper swans. Where else can we see the Hooper swans apart from here? Well, there is another place called the Cegou. Not far from here, there is another lake where they also have some Hooper swans. Along the coastlines of the Weihai city, we also have Hooper swans by the coastline. Because we have better natural environment now, it's easier to attract more Hooper swans. Well, thank you for being with us.
那可以稍微休息一下，然后也可以去拍拍更多非常精彩的天鹅的画面啊！谢谢谢谢。好，那我们把镜头再重新切换给现场。听完了戚主任的这样的一个介绍之后啊，让我们对山东荣成
Now we have more knowledge about the Rongcheng City of Shandong province.
孙老师也介绍了一下我们还有一位山东本土的摄影师。
I will be joined by Mr. Gu, also a local someone from local, to give us more information about the photography stories.
哎，你好，你好，郭老师。哇，我看这个设备，这个
I
还挺
can
专
see
业的。这个
it's really professional lens you've got.
哇，干活的家伙哦。好，来，我们给郭老师递个麦。哎，好的，来，郭老师，哎。可以行。哎，那顾老师可以跟我分享一下，你是经常过
Do
来
you
拍
come
天
here
鹅
very
吗？
often to make pictures of the Hooper swans?
是山东的本地的。
Yes, I am from Shandong. I'm from local.
哦，顾老师，你好。
我的家呀是
My hometown is Yantai City,
离咱们荣成天鹅湖有
110 kilometers away from Rongcheng.
我是
So 2 hours drive from here. I came here every week.
哇，
因为我们荣成天鹅湖这个天鹅呀，大约从头一年的
So the Hooper swans travel from Siberia here from the later half of October to the March next year.
只要我不到外地去拍片吧，
So I came here every
特
week.
别是
Especially when it snows, I
一定是要
definitely come.
拍一下雪中的天鹅。
那你也是从这个烟台专程开车过来
So
的？
today
这时候
you
路
also
真的还
drive
挺难
here?
走的
Yes.
是啊，这一场雪。
We have heavy snow today.
荣成天鹅湖这一场雪是据说哈，
It's said this is the heaviest snow on record.
局部地区的雪的厚度都超过1米了。
For the deepest region, you have
对
the snow as thick as 1 meter.
前天一天下雪都是40多米。
The day before, we have 40 centimeters.
哦，那这么寒冷的天，这个天鹅在我们这个荣成这边还是一样可以非常就是栖息的很舒服啊。
对，这个大
The Hooper swans is a bird species in the north part.
喜欢寒冷的，御寒能力很
They
强。
can easily adapt to the cold weather.
咱们的镜头可能也拍摄到了许多天鹅呀。
And you can see there is some color on the neck of the Hooper swans. You can tell their hometown by the color of their neck. If it is blue, they came from Russia and Mongolia. If it is green, it is from, they will come from Japan. If it is red, it is local from China.
哦，哇，所以这个细节的这个观察力
How
啊，也是
observant
非
you
常。
are.
对，顾老师不愧是非常这个资深
And I
专业的
believe
这个
you're so
行家。
professional.
那我看就是这个镜头它有什么样的讲究吗？就是我
Anything
们这个拍
special
天鹅，
about
看
your
您也
lens?
是今天带了这样的一个镜头。
我拍摄天鹅呀，30多年了，我从92年就。
I started my photography in 1992.
这个用的这个焦距镜头。
I used even longer lens
那个时候，这个大天鹅啊
because the Hooper swans were afraid of people,
拍摄天鹅的时候，天鹅与我
but not anymore.
都是在200米、300米，
哇，200、
300米吧，需要一个。
So for 200 and 300 meters, you need a long lens.
特别是咱们天鹅湖现在是
And now this area is a national preservation area for the Hooper swans.
我们现在可以零距离的接触天鹅了，所以说
So I use a much shorter lens.
用广角镜头，或者
Even with
用手机
with your phones, you
拍到
can make
美丽的
good
大天鹅。
pictures
是因为我
of the
刚刚有
Hooper
看到那边，
swans.
就是大家可以非常近距离的看到这个天鹅啊。是，就隔了一层那个玻璃就可以看到了。
咱们这个天鹅
And this
湖啊，
Swan Lake
不光是有天鹅，还有
is home to not only Hooper swans but also other bird species.
拍到了2只灰鹤。
灰鹤。
I make pictures of 2 gray cranes this morning. They are the category 2 of China's protected bird species. We also have white-headed cranes, the first tertiary of the protected animals. They also belong here.
就在这个旁边的滩涂上就可以看到。
There are 13 white-headed gulls, cranes. They are now all in my camera. I can see you have profound knowledge of the wild animals.
和拍摄鹤类，我特别喜欢拍摄这种大型。
Yes, I am fond of making pictures of these wild animals, especially the cranes.
我也去过许多的国家啊。
行走这个
In order to make
全球
the
各地
pictures, I also travel to a lot of
咱们
countries.
沿海我们离韩国是最近的。
Korea,
也是中国最早可以
Republic
看到日
Korea
出
is
的
also
那个
the nearest.
我曾经在韩国拍过韩国。
I also make pictures
拍过
of
韩国的丹顶
the
鹤
cranes and the
也
whooper
到过日
swans
本北
in
海道
the ROK and in
拍日本
Japan,
哦，哇，
我还
and
到
also
过
in
欧洲
Europe,
塞尔维
in
亚、
Serbia,
黑山拍过油鼻天鹅，
哦
我还
also
去
in
过冰岛
Iceland.
拍过大天鹅。哎，
哇，
冰岛的天鹅和咱们荣成的大天鹅是
The
一个品种。
Cooper swans in Iceland is the same category with
这
Rongcheng.
顾老师真的就是对这个天鹅这个领域有了非常独到的这样的一个见解。
对，现在是怎么了？我一个是拍摄天鹅，一个是拍摄鹤类。现在是咱们中国
Well,
呀，
in
因为
China,
这个天鹅湖有鹤呀，咱们中国有
we have 9
9种
categories
鹤
of
我
cranes.
目前拍到了8种，还有一种
I am
没拍
only
到
able to
那么这
make
种
pictures
很遗憾
of the 8
我想啊，
categories.
如果有机会的话，
The
这
last
种鹤叫什么
categories
鹤？叫赤颈鹤。
is the
咱们
red
德
neck
宏州的
crane.
人应该知道，在德宏曾
It
经
used
发
to be
现过
found
赤
in
颈
Dehong
鹤。
of Yunnan
现在我
province.
听说
Right
在
now,
缅
it
甸
is
能拍
said
到
to be found
能看到
in
赤颈鹤
Cambodia.
而且是很容易
去那
看到的
边。
我想，如果说有这种比较好的机会的
If
话，将来有
chances
机会的
allow,
话，我能到缅
I
甸
will
能
visit
拍到这个赤颈
Cambodia
鹤，来
to picture such animals.
达到我欣赏事成的这么个境界吧。
好的，好
Well,
的，那
thank
谢
you,
谢顾
Mr.
老师的
Gu,
分
for
享。
sharing
那
your
也可以就是
stories
继
of
续去其他的
the
地方来
photography.
拍一下我们不同的这个天鹅的画
对，
面啊。
我还有一个信息想
Well, I also have something more to share with you.
我
The day after tomorrow, I'm going to fly to Kunming to 宝山。
我元旦将要在咱们
In
德宏的芒市
Dehong, I will
那
make
是跟我们
pictures
今天
there
的直播
again.
相融合了。
对，听说芒市的叫何燕
In
鸥来了。
芒市
我刚
a place in Yunnan province,
他和我说
they have
我想
another
在元旦期间
important
去看一下咱们德宏的鸟。
pigeon
好的，那也非常期待
A
顾老师能给我
seagull
们带来更多非常精彩的作
in
品
Yunnan
了。
province.
谢谢顾老师，那
So
我们
I'm
可以先稍微
excited
休
to
息一
make
下。
pictures.
好的。
再见。
Well, thank you so much
哎，那我看
for
到
sharing the information.
好的。回到我们荣成的现场啊，哎，我身边这位啊，老师也是非常资深的这个摄影家，那先跟大家来打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是荣成的
摄影师，然后荣成本土的摄影师。那老师您贵姓？
我是荣成市摄影家协会的主席高俊波。
高老师，高老师你好啊！
欢迎大家到荣成拍天鹅啊！
哇，那您是荣成的，那您肯定就对这个当地有了非常多的这样的一个了解啊，那可以跟我们来介绍一下吗？
对，大天鹅这个天鹅湖这边啊，自从20多年前吧，我就基本上是大天鹅以来了，我基本上每天都来拍，
每天都来拍，
因为我这就是本地的本地的嘛，
来的很
特别方便，特别天气好的时候，我会带着我们的舍友啊。
I came here together with my photography friends.
这个本地人有这个非常多天都会有这样的一个条件了。那您对拍天鹅有什么样的这样的一个见解呢？就是
What are your own stories and how do you feel about making the pictures?
这个拍天鹅，我们现在除了专业摄影师和摄影
Well, many people came here for making the pictures. The photographers, the professional photographers, and also the fans. And also we have the tourists. And this helps integrate the culture and the tourism
出了一些作品，更多的是让外面的
And
人
that
都知
gives
道
us
荣城有这么
a
美的地
chance
方，让
to
旅
tell
游
the
的人来。
stories of
所以说
Rongcheng to
现
the
在
people outside this
说
place.
起来，现在的旅游就是摄影旅
So
游，
people
不管
came
是
here
用手机、
mostly for
用相机、
photography, for
各
sightseeing,
种设备啊，特别现在还
and for
拍
making the
大厅
videos.
大厅要拍起来很漂亮。所以现在是我们夏天的荣城旅游就很。
So in summer,
到了冬天有了大天鹅，更
来给它
we have a lot of
架设一
tourists,
下
but in winter we have
那
more.
就是除了这一块能看到天鹅之外，那荣城还有哪些其他的地
So
方？
where else can we can
荣
find
城
the
的
Hooper
大
swans?
天鹅主要有
Well, there are more than 10 places you can find Hooper swans in this area.
比较大的是
The biggest place is the Swan Lake. We also have White Sand
市区有一个
Lake.
樱花湖，还有我们的长江
Also the
海边
coastline.
上都有，包括我们石
Also
岛
the
港湾里边对凤凰湖
Sea
里边
Gulf.
都有天鹅，但是这个数量最大的还是就是我们这边天鹅。
这边的哦，那它也是有不同的这个品种。
I heard that there are different categories
在我
of
们
the
荣
Hooper
城
swans.
的大天鹅就是大天鹅。
There is only one species here,
少
the
有
Hooper
的
swans.
这个前几年我也拍到了，少有的那种油鼻天鹅。
For
有的
other
是
species, it's
每
hard
年就十几只
to
的
find.
到来。
哦，数量非常非常少，这个。
它的那个越冬。
These species do not spend winter
东宁那
here.
边比较多。偶尔还有这几年还发现了有几只那个。
We also find some black swans,
对，也挺漂亮，但是少。它不是在这个地
but they do not spend winter here.
方，主要是大天鹅的朋友，有的时候。
So the Hooper swans are the most populated
小天鹅
guests to this place.
小天鹅也很少，大概就是几只。
For the black swans, they came here only in a few numbers.
是这样。
哦，那这些就是不同的这个天鹅，那也是带动了这个旅游方面的这样一个发展。
给我们旅游带来了。
So they have helped develop the tourism industry in Rongcheng.
我们今年和那个中国摄影家协会搞了一个。
Well, the China's Association of Photographers have held an exhibition of their pictures
就是搞了一些临展，就
themed on the Hooper swans, so that more people can get to know
这么美的景色，
about them
主要还是推广了一下旅游，
and also get to know about the tourism here.
让大家都爱上了这个。
When people fall in love with the Hooper swans, they fall in love with this place.
更多的是，其实现在啊，说实话，你很多的人不是完全为了喝，就是来看一看。
Many people came here not only for the Hooper swans, they came here just to see around, to see this place.
上属于零级理解。
哦，那您是从什么时候就是开始来拍天鹅了？就是。
So you have been doing this for 20 years, right? Yes.
还是用胶片的拍。
哦，胶片拍。
对呀。
I started
当有了这个
much earlier, and not until 2005 did I get my first Canon lens camera.
这几年设备不断的更新，拍起来更多。
And now, as I shoot more and more, I'm more proficient
那么
at
现
it.
在就是第一是这个大天鹅的离人的距离
So, an experience about filming the Hooper swans. Well, the Hooper swans are getting closer and closer to people,
这个它主要的食物是大叶藻嘛，
and they feed on this the lake
就会少一点。
plants.
所以我们保护区的就适当的就，
So people feed them with the weeds.
所以这样更让这个大天鹅离人。
So they are not afraid of people, and they get closer to people.
这个整个大天鹅的种群数量
And the number of Hooper swans has grown to from a few thousands to 10,000 to over 10,000.
都在融合啊，主要的在这个这1.6是多少平方公里？这个湖面上
On this lake,
6、7千只在这。
we have over 6,000 Hooper swans on this lake alone.
在其他的地方，那个一般都是在。
And in other places, you got 100, a few hundreds.
就是这个也是荣城的一张。
So the Hooper swans have become a name card of the local area.
很好的冬季旅游的一个影片。现在我们这个政府加大了一些，就是
That's attributed to the local government. The government has put more money to the protection of the Hooper swans. Not only the protection measures are in place, but also the tourists benefited from the Hooper swan scene, watching. So what a harmony between human and nature. Thank you for sharing. So enjoy your photo time. Now we are in Rongcheng for the Hooper swans. Thank you for watching today's episode. We are approaching the end of today's live stream. So welcome to Rongcheng, of Shandong, to Dehong of Yunnan province to interact with nature and the wild animals. Thank you for watching. See you next time.